What is going on, everyone? How was everyone's weekend? What's up, Nick? Let's get everyone active in the chat. Nick, what you up to? Elevated, what's going on? I have a short watch list this week. Knight, what's up? Zach, what's going on? Chris, how you doing? Let's give it a few moments for everyone to get in here. Mavis, what's going on? Ricardo, Chris, Raymond, Jack, Ronnie. How was everyone's weekend? Here's a mind bender before we get started. A friend asked me, are there more doors or wheels in the world? Now, before you answer, take some time and think about it. Are there more doors or wheels? Because it is pissing me off. I can't decide. And I posted a poll on my Twitter, and everyone's basically 50-50. Elevated, awesome. Pablo, what's going on? Dudley, what's up, man? Trader, what's going on? Deaf wheels. Here we go. Let's start the battle. Before we get started, we're gonna get started in a few seconds, a few moments. Like, I don't know. I thought wheels too, but doors are kind of leaning towards me now. What's up, Blonde Broker? And then you're hearing double? Is anyone else hearing double? Shouldn't be. Alexa, what's going on? William, how you doing? Before we get started, guys, my buddy is trying to enter this contest. I put the link in the bio of this video, and all you have to do is just click Vouch. I mean, you don't have to, but I would appreciate if you could just help him out. I'm always looking to help friends and family, so just click that link in the bio, and just click Vouch. He's trying to get into phase. Double overtime. I played baseball when I was younger. Trader, what's going on? Antonio, how you doing? All right. Let's get started. Let's take a look at futures first. So futures are down a bit. ES and I'm down 1.5 to 1.2%, and the Nasdaq is down about 2%. But right, so this is obviously what time is it? About 8 o'clock Eastern. We still have plenty of time before market opens, so not really too worried. But with tensions getting higher in Russia and Ukraine, it's something to be cautious about. But if you're a technical trader like I am, definitely not something to be worried about, right? Because technical traders only play the chart, so nothing to be worried about. Always just play the chart. Every trade should have a plan. Plan the trade and trade the plan. Simple as that. All right, so I'm not really going to pay attention too much to futures. Let's see where this ends up going here. Yeah, I'm not going to really pay attention too much on futures. We'll take a deeper dive in the morning and see what's going on there. Okay, so I have a very short watch list this week. I didn't really like too much. Hopefully I find some new setups when you guys give me some chart requests. But for now, all I have on my watch list is this: Tesla, Amazon, AMD, Nvidia, and then the three indices, SPY, QQQ, and IWM. VIX I always just have just to keep an eye on. So SPY, first thing I'm looking at, right? We have a very common level of resistance, right? Multiple areas of resistances that turn into a support, right? We bounced off multiple times. Is the music too loud? Let me turn that a little bit lower just in case. Right, and this old support right here, right? We bounced here once, bounced here twice, then we bounced here 3 times. And then last week we bounced here again, right above it. So now we're kind of creating higher lows and lower highs, right? Price action is getting tighter. And when that happens, you end up seeing a nice, decent sized move. We have a little gap to fill, but over this 433.37 level, I'm looking at calls. We do have a double bottom right here, which is going to act as a resistance. So it needs 434 to clear to potentially see 439 to 440 this week. That's what I'm watching at to the upside. And then to the downside, right under 427.11, which is this low. We bounced there once and again there. Below that, it could get pretty ugly. I would look for a move into this region here. Right, volume profile. You could see where buyer stepped in, where the most volume was. So if we do move to the downside, this is the region around 420 to around 415 is where we might see some consolidation before another move down or up. Okay, and also take note of the overall trend. Right, so here's the 1 hour. We are creating lower and lower highs. Right, so that's just something to keep note of. Right, so it's starting to form a bear trend, a trend to the downside. But this low here again, right, 427.11. If this low drops, you know, we're definitely going to test this region around 415. So something to take note of. Right, declining volume as well. Really need to see, you know, what happens here. Oil stocks, no, I haven't even really looked at the oil stocks. I know they're, you know, they've been pretty hot lately, but I only play the setup, right? So these setups look best to me, and that's what works for me. Everyone obviously has their own opinion, and everyone, you know, has their own strategy. And this is what works best for me. QQQ I think looks way better. Right, very common level of resistance turned into a support, and now we kind of have like a falling wedge here, right? We have the pole with the wedge, and I'm looking for a clear break over 339.79 and puts under 334.92. Right, we have a little double bottom here. If this opens below, right, I'm gonna look for a retest of this puts level. So we're below that old resistance, didn't hold as a support. Now we're kind of testing this high right here. Apex, good question. I never lean bullish or bearish. I just play the triggers. Try not to have an opinion on the market, right? Because if someone's acting bullish, their mind is going to lean towards always looking at calls. So I'm always just neutral. If the market's moving up, I'll play it to the upside. If it's moving down, I'll play it to the downside. Even though I don't really like playing puts, but I've been doing them more often recently, as I've been trading more often. I'll do chart requests towards after I finish this tiny list. So this is what I'm looking at on QQQ, but it looks very good. And just like I said on SPY, if we open up below this level, I'm going to look for a retest. Right, so if we open up down here on 331, 332, I'll look for a retest of 335, and then you know, you can play puts from there. All right, so this is my plan. I have my plan set already, and I'm going to trade the plan. Brady, I usually just whenever the trigger hits, right? There's multiple ways. If you're playing within the first 15 minutes of market open, typically you want to take profits quicker, right? Because the market is still trying to pick a direction in the morning. So if you enter a play at, let's say, 9:31 Eastern, right, definitely take profits quick. You don't want to try to extend that play out all day, right? The market might reverse, or just start to scale out if you have multiple contracts. Scaling out is definitely the best method of playing. Here's IWM, right? Nice inverse head and shoulders, right? We have a clear neckline, multiple levels of rejections. And then we have left shoulder, head, and a right shoulder with a falling wedge, right? Common levels of rejections, common levels of support, and we're starting to form a base here. So if this pushes up over 199.5, gonna look for a move up to around this region here, around 204 to 205. Hopefully that's clear to everyone. Right, but below this level, 196.99, that low that I put in, I'm gonna look for a move to around these lows right here. Right, just around 195, 194. If this area doesn't hold, then it's gonna probably test around 188, 190. Do I usually wait? No. So I kind of just answered that. I answer whenever the trigger hits. I'll enter a play 1 minute into the market open. If my trigger gets hit. If it doesn't, I'll wait. And I try to just play within the first 2 hours of the market open, right? Because lunchtime, things get choppy, volume's pretty low compared to the open and the close. Are these only weekly day trades? These are only weekly contracts that I play. I only play weeklies. Only play weeklies. And I typically only day trade. I leave runners as swings sometimes, but it's always good to scale out before the market closes. You always want to reduce your risk. Always be risk first. How do you stop FOMO? So you just need to understand that there's always going to be another play. You always need to understand that, right? So there's always going to be another setup. You have to plan the trade and trade the plan. There's going to be multiple plays that you miss. And the worst is when you go to buy a contract, you put in your limit order and you don't get filled and the move ends up going right to plan. It's going to happen day after day after day, week after week, month after month, and so on. And then once you trade for long enough, you know, it's you become emotionless. You got to take your emotions away. You got to size small enough that you're willing to lose it all, but enough that, you know, if you hit the trade correctly, you're gonna, you know, feel good about that profit. And also, the biggest thing is trading based off setup and not your P&L, right? Only look for good trades. Don't take trades based off how much you could potentially make. Always take the trade if it's a good setup and it looks like a good trade, right? So I'm not looking, when I'm trading, I'm not looking to make money. I'm looking just for the best trades, if that makes sense to you guys. Hopefully that makes sense. But that little mindset switch right there was massive for me. Absolutely massive. Strike and date based on delta or recently? No, I never look at the Greeks. Never look at the Greeks because I'm playing weekly options. They move very quickly. Don't need to do that. Do I use trailing stop losses? No, I just have my stop loss below the next level of support. Keep asking questions, guys. I'll answer every single question you guys ask. This is basically a one-on-one session for 90 people that are here. I'll answer every question. That's my goal. How did you start with example? Only 500. You can only buy one option. I actually started with $140 when I started trading. It took a long time. Trust me, this does not come quick. So just know that it does not come quick. That's for sure. It takes a long time to develop a strategy and to be consistent. So just understand that. I started with $140. I bought a contract for 140 or $136, I think it was. And it ended up going, I got very lucky. I had no idea what I was doing when I first started. It ended up going over 1,000%, which is why I was hooked right away. Right? It's kind of like a gambling addiction thing going on. And I got very lucky in my first play. Turned it into like over $1,000. And then from there, I ended up just putting all in every single play. And then until I lost, and I lost all my money. And then I was at zero again. And then I had to figure it out again. And then I ended up blowing up my account again. And then ended up losing thousands and thousands of dollars. Right, so I went through the same thing you guys did. I started with $140, turned it into 50,000 multiple times, blew it every single time. Like 3 or 4 times it happened. And then I was like, okay, this is ridiculous. I need to start, you know, actually putting time into learning how to trade. Let me answer some more questions. Conditional orders, I do use conditional orders sometimes. I do play calls and puts, but mostly calls because we were in a bull market, but now we're starting to lean towards a potential bear market. Yes, it's possible to turn 1,500 to 10,000, but you need to be risky. At the money strikes, no, I typically play out of the money strikes. What are your key triggers before you get into a trade? So I look for, right, it's just testing the major level of resistance or support and flow from the dashboard, right? I always use the dashboard and I always make sure smart money is positioning, right? So always do that. Okay, these questions are great, guys. Keep asking these questions. I've been trading for 8 years. I'm up to JJ and now Ricardo. The Tesla play, yeah, I can go over my play. I'm actually gonna make a YouTube video about that after this. So Ricardo, I'll get over that Tesla play in my YouTube video. How do I pick what's on my watch list? I just go through like every single ticker from the week before. Like I have a list here with a bunch of names. I just go through. Look, see, it's charted already. I do like Facebook. I'm actually gonna add it to my watch list. And I just go through and chart everything. All right, this is what I do. Everything I chart here. And the things I like the best, I add it to my watch list. Okay. Let me keep going. Indicators I use. So the indicator is the VPVR. That's on the right hand side, and then just volume, and then the BT cloud. Confirmation means like so 3 or 4 candles on the 5-minute, like a retest of a resistance being broken, and that resistance now being retested and turned into a support. Phil, similar story. First few options plays were 500%. Since then, lost way more than one, and it makes you more fearful. Exactly. Yeah. Once you lose a lot, you become fearful, and then you start trading with emotions. It becomes tough, but you need to continue to, you know, focus on education. Thoughts on macro March rate hikes, priced in or downside? I don't focus on any of the any of that. I focus on technicals purely, right? All of the news and everything reflects in the chart. Price action reflects everything. So I don't care about rate hikes. How do you set up a stop loss? I always have my stop loss. Well, I don't actually use a stop loss. I use a mental stop loss. Right. So let's say I enter here for a trade. Right. I enter here anticipating a breakout. Once it breaks this candle and holds, right? If it breaks out, comes back down, retests this level, that would be confirmation, and then moves back to the upside. My stop loss is going to be down here, right below that previous support. Right, so we had a higher high. This is the bottom here, 825.16, and my stop loss is going to be around like 820 or so. Right, I don't want to get faked out. Okay, keep going, guys. Drop a like on the video. Helps me out. Let me keep asking these questions. Do you ever play the orb strategy? I honestly don't even know what the orb strategy is. I see it all over Twitter, but I have no idea. ETFs versus individual stocks. So ETFs are good, like SPY, QQQ, and IWM. very good, high in volume. You get great contract fills. You'll always get filled, which is also great. And you can also play shorter term expirations during the week, which is great for beginner accounts, but it is very risky. Right, options trading is very risky. What card do I have? Irrelevant. How do I learn how to chart? Just by doing it and watching YouTube videos. So like you guys are watching me right now, this is exactly what I would do. I would watch people live stream. Well, 8 years ago, it was kind of like more old school. I would just have to go on YouTube and read books. But now it's way easier. Now I just chart live. You guys can just watch me every single week. After this, after I answer all these questions, I'm going to do some chart requests. How different is the volume profile you use compared to... I don't really chart on Thinkorswim, so I'm not sure. I mean, all volume profiles are the same. Is BT Cloud on TradingView with premium only? No, I'm pretty sure anyone can use the BT Cloud indicator. Anyone can use it. It's like the 4 EMA and the 20 SMA and EMA or something like that. Do you let intraday news and market chatter impact your trade decisions? Nope, absolutely not. Everything is reflected via price. If there's good news, the stock's going to move up, and I'm going to play a break of resistance. Market internals, nope, just do technicals. What brokerage do I use? I use a bunch. I have Schwab, Webull, Thinkorswim, TD Ameritrade. I have a bunch. Do I use market orders? No, I basically only use limit orders. If I miss a trade, it is what it is. I move on to the next one. I'm not always going to get every single trade. You think this market's a mess? Best check it after March 16th. Green thoughts. This is actually the best market for a day trader, in my opinion. I have been on an absolute heater since December. This market volatility is amazing. I'm on the longest winning streak in my career in the last 2 months, 3 months now actually. Over an 85% win rate currently. And only doing day trades and scalps, by the way. I don't really I haven't swing traded at all, which is 7-8 years ago, or 5 to 8 years ago. All I did was swing trade. I would buy 1 to 2 months out and play the trend. Do I think if Trump becomes the president again, the market will go back up? No idea, not getting into politics. I always use limit orders. Yeah, Nick, not having a bias in the market is massive. Always just be neutral, play the chart. If you don't have a chart, if you don't have the chart charted, that's like a tongue twister, don't trade it. All right, always just play the chart. I use the BT Cloud to identify the trend, right? Also, you could just play the reversal, right? So on the 1 hour, I think it works best, right? So it flipped right here. If you entered here and you waited until it turned red again, you'd be in profit. Same with here, right? Flipped here, turn red, you'd be in profit. The cloud is just EMAs, so it's not like anything special. It just looks clean, way cleaner than like the lines. What makes me trade in one brokerage compared to the other? I use Webull as my main account. I also have like a couple other accounts on Webull, and then I use TD Ameritrade for past 2 p.m. Zero data expiration options. I trade purely based on price action and levels. That's it. I'm straying away from Elliott Wave. I used to be a big Elliott Wave guy, but I haven't really used Elliott Wave recently. I've just been using price action, and it's working perfectly. Okay, keep going, guys. Keep going. Drop a like on the video if you haven't already. Do you trade based on price action? I just answered that. Okay, so Phil A, nice work. I'm on the worst losing streak in my trading career, said. So we've all been through it. It's not something to be ashamed of. Take a look at your trades, look at your entries and exits, and see what went wrong. Why'd you enter where you did? Why'd you exit where you did? Right, rechart the setup and learn from that. That's what you should do. How do you position morning trades? Pretty easy answer. I have a stop loss set in stone before I even take the trade. Always have a stop loss. Oh, you're a swing trader? Yeah, swing trading is tough in this market, so just you know, be aware of that. How long are you staying in a scalp, hitting a price target, a percentage? I take every single trade differently. Like, I don't have like a set in stone 15% stop loss or 15% price target, right? So for example, let's say I take this trade here, right? Although my call trigger is 851.69, I would probably, you know, start to scale in like as soon as this trend line breaks here. Right, you could put it here. I have it here. Just looks better in my opinion based on experience. Right, enter here. It's probably gonna, you know, consolidate right here, and then if it breaks, right, now I start to scale out when it breaks. Right, it's gonna approach this resistance right here. It's gonna act as a level of resistance. Definitely scale out, and then I always leave the runners. If it continues, I'll leave the runners, and then I always set a stop loss at break even. Right, so for example, if it breaks out here, I'm gonna start to take profits, and I'm gonna, like, let's say I buy 50 contracts, I'd sell half around here, right, around resistance, and I'm gonna set my 25 contracts stop loss at break even, so I win no matter what. Comes back down, it is what it is. If it continues, I now have 25 contracts, and I continue to scale out as it approaches resistances. Right, so don't have like a set in stone 50% price target. Every trade has a different price target and stop loss. Something to take note of. Market conditions are awful for a swing trader. That's for sure. Broski, to learn to trade like you, should I watch the educational and EM guide playlist in your channel? Yeah, I learn. Tongue twister. Jeez. Watch as many videos as possible. No video is, there's no like secret video that's going to teach you how to trade, right? You need to watch every single one and develop a strategy that fits best for you. That's probably the best piece of advice you can get, right? No strategy that someone else uses is going to, you know, be best for you. Everyone has their own little twist to it. You know, you need to watch everything, read everything, and, you know, develop a plan for yourself based on your schedule, your risk, time available you have, etc. Tiffany, I'm a new trader. How do you keep track of all your trades for studying? Well, your broker kind of catalogs all your trades. You can see your entries, exits, prices, and everything. So I would just go back and look at my order history. Taxes, my accountant does all that. I don't focus on any of that. How do you find fills on Webull? Execution time. Very good. I've never had a problem with it. Indicators, I don't really have many. VPVR, BT Cloud. Honestly, I never wait for confirmation. Right? Because if you wait for confirmation, you're going to be a little late on the best possible price. Right? So I'd rather enter here at the potential break before that call trigger hits. Right? Because by the time this hits, the IV spike on contracts is going to be greater. So you're going to make some more profits. I kind of strayed away from Elliott Wave, honestly. Is looking at tickers other than mega caps a waste of time? Absolutely not. Everyone has their own strategy. But I like to stick to these big names. That's my personal preference. What time frame do you concentrate your candles? Right, so I typically chart on like the 1 hour. Right, if I'm day trading, the daily is not as important. Right, I'm looking at like the 1 hour to chart. I find the overall setup, right? We have a clear level of resistance. We have another trend that's identified here. And I'm looking for a reversal out of like this falling wedge pattern. And then I'll trade basically on like the 10 to 15 minute time frame. If your position is a single call, what's your advice on when to take profits so you don't always exit too early? So it's a tough question. Exiting too early it shouldn't be a thing, right? Because when you exit, you don't know if it's going to go down or up, right? So anything after that happens, anytime after you sell is all going to be hindsight, right? So no one knows if it's going to go up or down, right? So when you sell, you just need to play the chart, right? So if it breaks out, right? If you have one contract's tough. It's very tough. It's really hard to give a definite answer because every single setup is different and every single trade's different. It's also, you know, how risky you are as a person, right? If you want to let it go a little bit more and you want the big profit, you can do that. But with big profit, you're going to probably take a big loss too. So it's tough to just give one answer on that. Do I like the triple top on Tesla? Yeah, I mean, this is a triple top for sure. But the only thing that's going to do is act as a resistance within this region. Right, like this region here is going to act as a resistance. So, which is why if this breaks out this week, this is a great area to take profits. I trade full time. Still going to make YouTube video recapping trades? Absolutely, I am going to do that. How many trades do I take every day? Okay, good question. I never have more than like 2 or 3 trades open at once. Anything more than 2 or 3 trades at once, I feel like I'm gonna have a heart attack. And it's also just impossible to manage. So I really just take, you know, 2 to 3 trades max. How do y'all look at supply and demand and support resistance together on a trade? What do you mean by that? Jack, pleasure. Appreciate you stopping by and supporting. What's the difference between BullTrades and TrendSpider? Well, TrendSpider is just a charting platform. We're not a charting platform. We do like education alerts, exits, entries. We have our own unusual options activity platform right here that comes with it. Right, we're looking to just implement everything in one, as opposed to all these other groups that just do charts and entries. They don't even do exits. You know, we'd have this entire thing, you know, for you guys. We're just looking to be like an all-in-one. An all-in-one product. Right, you could see everything here. How important is volume greater than open interest, and what exactly do you learn more volume? So volume greater than open interest is basically just new contracts being bought or sold that day. Right, open interest is the current amount of contracts out there, and the volume is, you know, the volume coming in that day. And I don't really look at it. I'm trading weekly options. It is what it is. It's nothing really to be too aware of. Have I considered live streaming during market hours? I do sometimes. You make 6 to 8. 6 to 8 trades is a lot. 2 to 3 trades in a total day, or just at once? Honestly, I don't really take more than 2 or 3 trades a day. Sometimes, most of the time, I don't even take a trade, which is why I have fewer trades than most analysts. I'm very, very patient. Patience pays, that's for sure. If I miss a play, I don't care. I could care less. I couldn't care less, excuse me. There's going to be a million plays. The market's never going to go away. There's no need to rush a play, right? Don't try and get rich off one play. Take the play because it's a good trade, not because it has good probability of making money, right? That obviously too, but focus on the trade, not the money. Bill, appreciate you stopping by. Right, my streams, I'm not just sitting here, you know, charting. I'm looking to help every single person in the stream. That's my goal of the stream, and that's why I do it. Because I've had so many traders come back to me and say, you know, like, thank you so much. It's like, and they've become an amazing trader since. Actually, I just got a message the other day. Someone that I taught one-on-one back in the day messaged me and said now they work at Citigroup as an options trader, which is insane. They got hired by Citigroup as an options trader. Crazy. AlphaMail, I actually have a video on that. It's in the market resources section. Chris, how do I filter the dashboard? That same video, same answer, in the market resources section on the Discord right here. Nope. Market resources here, right here. Skip to 920. Market resources. Also, side note, the link in the description, the first link is my friend is trying to enter a competition. I would appreciate if you guys could just go voucher him. You click the link and click vouch, and that's it. You could do it once an hour. Always looking to help everyone I can. Did I play the blue card challenge? No, I didn't. I don't need to do that. I just played the trades on myself. Will I play the E-trade challenge? No. I'm just looking to help you guys. I don't really care about building 2,000 to 40,000. I'm just looking to help everyone. Which is why I post charts, I post plays that I take, and I post consistent, unusual options activity that I like. Yep, I still have those QQQ 318 swings. That's just a lotto though. QQQ looks pretty good. Right, this was the breakout that we played, but it, you know, the news kind of affected that. But it's just a lotto, so it's whatever. Naveen, I hope I'm saying your name right. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. Just joined BullTrades. Well, welcome. Everyone here is family. I try and help every single one of you. You have a full-time job. You know, it's definitely hard with a full-time job in the current market conditions. If you could trade the first half hour, first hour of the market, you know, try and do that. If you can only take a look at the market here and there, you're gonna have to buy contracts a little further out, right? So theta doesn't kill you. Right, so take 2 to 3 weeks out instead of weekly. And set alerts, right? If you could trade from your phone, I mean, I trade from my phone all the time. Set alerts and just play the chart off your phone. Can I do a small account challenge? I've done it before. It's I'm just not used to it, right? I haven't done a small account in like 7-8 years. So I just don't know how successful I'm going to be. I'm going to trade differently on a small account. Because right now I just trade on my main account. And I play a lot of the bigger names, right? So if I play on a $100, $500 account, I can't play the same names that I always play. So it just, I just don't think the account challenge is for me. I'm just looking to put out consistent quality plays. I feel like that makes sense. Out of the money contracts, always about 5 to 10% out. Which play is my favorite this week? I definitely like this QQQ setup, but the market may open down. We'll see in the morning. I'll let you know. David, if you want to ask me that question again in the morning, I could totally let you know in the morning in the Discord. I also really like Tesla. Nice inverse head and shoulders. Price action is getting tighter and tighter. If this breaks here, I would take probably like an 875 call. All right, I'm gonna look for around an 875 call or an 860, somewhere around here. Right, 900 call could work, but you're gonna need a nice candle and a nice move up. So I'd rather be a little bit on the safer side, out of the money. It's gonna go in the money if this does break. I would probably take 860 to 870 call. One-on-ones, I don't really do one-on-ones. I don't really have time for that. I'm just looking to, you know, I could do this and basically answer every single question. I think I might need some coffee. Hey, always, I have like 5 coffees a day. It's definitely not healthy. Do I have an example of how I use the dashboard? Yep, in the Discord, in the market resources section. Tesla 940 would be the third top. Yeah, we rejected multiple times at this level. This 940 level is definitely tough. Another side note, do you guys want me to like put the chat on the screen so you could see the comments I'm reading? Right, because I feel like you guys are just looking at the chart. I kind of want to make it more interactive and interesting as opposed to just like if I'm watching this on my phone, I feel like I'm just staring at a chart and listening to me speak. So let me know if you have any suggestions on that and ways to improve the stream. Is there a best day in the week to trade? I hate trading on Wednesdays. Wednesdays, I don't even trade. I literally never trade on Wednesday. It's just my worst day of trading the last 8 years. So I just stopped. It's choppy. It's middle of the week. So, you know, Wednesdays, I rarely trade. But my favorite days are probably Tuesdays and Thursdays. And if you're looking for, you know, swing trades, what you could do, right? Here's an idea, right? Open up the dashboard, filter whatever you want to look for, set the expiration to like in a range right here, right? So you could do a range. So you could take away weeklies. So from like the 13th to like 2 months out or something, right? So now 313 to 429. Now you're filtering for contracts in a range. Or you know what? I'm gonna do the 11th. I'm gonna do this date, right? So we avoid this week. So we have 2 weeks out to, you know, over a month out, right? You could do that, and then you could filter, you know, for sweeps, and then you could filter. Let's say you're bullish on the market, you could filter just for calls and just for bullish, and then you could filter for a bunch of other things. Premium greater than 250,000. There's currently nothing. Greater than 500 contracts. Right, so these are all interesting trades that you can look at and look to play. If it has a good chart, right, you can also click the ticker and view the chart right here. Not sure if everyone knows that. CLF, getting a nice move. Someone took a 25 call. 318 for 10,000 or 1,000 contracts. Pretty interesting. Someone's looking for that double top break. So it's just something to consider here. This is a great way to actually play swing trades. Follow this flow here. When screening unusual option activity, how do you know it's not part of a spread? You do and you don't. Like, for example, let's see if I could find one. Like, you'll know when it's a spread, right? You'll see like 2 sweeps, same expiration, same strike. One's bullish and one's bearish. I'm not gonna look for it right now, but I can alert you when I see a spread. Alpha male, recommend using all in with 35% stop loss starting with 500. That's a question for C Blast. He's the one doing it, so I'll let him answer that question. There's no certain percentage where I take profit. It just depends on the setup. What do I consider a break? I consider a break as soon as it breaks through that resistance. When it breaks through resistance, the candle is much bigger, right? Like, for example, let's actually do this. Right, so for example, I remember we took Tesla here. Okay, so we had this common level of resistance. We approached, let's say there's probably a bounce somewhere here. Never mind. Okay, so common level of resistance to the downside. We started to flag here. Right, we put in a bottom. We approached it once, rejected, came back down. And then, you know, this was a great entry at the break of this level. Let's zoom in a little bit. Right, so it flagged. And then notice how this resistance acted as support, and then it came down, took out everyone's stop loss before moving back to the upside. Okay, so here's confirmation right here, right? So we had a resistance, it rejected again, and then it finally broke out after taking out stop losses, right? So if you entered here, your stop loss probably got triggered here before finally breaking out, and then it consolidated, right? It gave us a little triangle over this resistance, right? So this resistance acted as a new support right over that level, and then it shot up to the upside as soon as it approached this resistance, right? So, you know, it works every single time, right? A little more volume at the break here, shot up, and then it just follows the BT cloud. Right, so this is what happens every single time, right? So people probably entered here at the break, you get faked out, it comes back down, hits everyone's stop loss again, and then it shoots up to the upside. Right, so, you know, personally, if this was, I think we took this trade, I know we did. I had my stop loss below this region. Right, I'm willing to take the bigger loss because I sized correctly. All right, so I had a small position as always. I always trade very small compared to my account. Entered probably here at the potential break, or probably here actually. Right, it broke out, pulled back, retested, looked for the next resistance, probably scaled out here, probably a 50 to 100% move on options. Came back down. And, you know, I still had a couple of runners, didn't hit the stop loss, so I held. And then, right, as I said before, old resistance turns into a new support. And then it moved back to the upside. So, pretty good example of, you know, how to play the trade. Appreciate it. I am very patient. That's probably, and you know, being patient was probably my biggest flaw when I first started. I was so impatient. I worked on it so hard, and now I am extremely patient. I am very, very patient now. Drop a like if you don't mind. Definitely helps. I do have some videos on unusual options activity on my channel if you scroll down. Are there any stocks or index you recommend holding long term? I'm not going to give that suggestion. I'm just day trading. Ever consider collecting premium, selling and collecting premium? Yep, I do that here and there on my long-term account. I sell calls or puts. Does BullTrades paid membership give access to different Discord chats? Yeah, it gives access to everything. You have access to every single channel. Of all the analysts, who do you think has a very similar strategy to mine? C-Blessed and I have the same exact strategy. We have a very similar strategy. Basically the same thing. How do you not get stopped out if market makers know where to put the stop losses? So, right, I can anticipate where they're going to fake out. Right, so just like I showed you before, you need to have it below the area of support or resistance. Right, they're always going to try and fake out. That's what happens. If we do not get close to your entry on the group alert, how far out should we chase? So, I mean, the thing is, we post our charts and we just follow the chart. And I have my alert set, right? I have my alert at here. I probably set one here. I'll be notified before the move happens and watch for an entry. So, you know, if you don't get the same fill, it's not the end of the world. You know, it's very hard to get the same fill as someone. You know, you can always wait for the next play. There's always going to be another play that you could wait for. I should probably cover these other setups. Amazon, right? So common level of resistance. You take a look at the smaller time frame, right? Another common level of resistance. Kind of looks like we are putting in a bottom here, right? We might open lower though, so this might be invalidated at open. But over 29.26, I'm looking for calls for a move back to the upside around this region. AMD, same exact thing, but the daily looks amazing on this. Right, look at the daily. Higher and higher lows, lower and lower highs. Looks good. This is the area to reverse if it does. Right, and the smaller time frame looks very good as well. Same thing as Amazon, right? Same exact setup. Same with NVIDIA, right? Basically a falling wedge, just broke out end of the day on Friday, and over 230, looking for calls. Facebook just added this to the watch list, right? Falling wedge looks very good. Same exact thing as the other ones. Right, so the low is where you take puts. Oh, I got something in my eye. And I'd enter calls over there. Or over around 200. Are BullTrades and TrendSpider the same? No, they're not the same at all. TrendSpider is just a charting platform. We're not a charting platform. Yep, my exit is determined by the next level of resistance. Absolutely. Gaps, it depends. It's like a tough question to just give a straight answer to. Like if we gap down here, I'm gonna wait for a retest of this support as a new resistance before playing puts. Looks like we're starting to lose some people here. Everyone's attention span starting to go here. I answered every single question so far. So keep them coming if you have more questions or charts that you want to see. A fake out before the breakout. You can't know if it's going to fake out before the breakout. You need to have a mental stop loss or an actual stop loss below that support or resistance if you're playing puts. Right, anything that happens is going to be hindsight. Right, so you got to just play the setup. What percent of my portfolio do I use on each trade? About 1 to 2%. And I don't have a specific stop loss. I use the support below. Volume profile, we have a thing in the market resources section. on how to use volume profile. Nike, whoops. What's the ticker? NKE? Well, wait. Oh. Right, so first look at the trend. Overall downtrend. Every potential breakout gets sold off. And we're sitting at a pretty steep bottom. Right, so you could play like potentially this breakout, but you're fighting the downtrend. Oops. Right, so it's a nice little wedge, but contracts probably aren't the greatest. Let's see. Ricardo, yeah, you play the retest. Like if it gaps down, like if QQQ gaps down and we open, where's my brush? Right, so let's say we open here, right? We shoot back up and we start to see some consolidation here, right? We like chop sideways. Great area to take puts, right? It's going to come back down, right? It's going to move a little bit sideways, and then once this level breaks, another area, it's going to come back down, it's going to retest, and it's going to go down again. But if it goes like this, where's my brush? Right, if it gaps down, comes back up, retest, and then moves back to the upside, I'm gonna wait for this trigger level. Right, it might move sideways a bit and then potentially break out. You could play that breakout and continue. You got to be patient. You got to size correctly. Size smaller than you think and play the chart. That's all you got to do. Matt, what's going on? Still here. In the money calls, I kind of ignore. I'm just looking for aggressive sweeps. Boeing, it's been pretty brutal. Right, just broke that level of support. Overall downtrend, I don't like the setup this week. Flow, no, I'm just talking about like aggressive sweeps. UNG, let's take a look at it. I'm pretty sure it's yes. All right, nothing really too special. And when I say nothing too special, I mean like the setup for my liking isn't really worth taking anything here. Like I would not trade this. Doesn't mean you can't trade it, right? Everyone has their own opinion. If you have a $2,500 account, I mean $500 a contract's a lot for a $2,500 account. You only have 5 opportunities if they all lose. Go to 100%. So let's say you take $500 a contract, right? You have a 50% stop loss, which is $250, which is 10% of your account. Or is that one? That's 10%, yeah. If you cut at 50%, you lost 10% of your account. So, or 5%. Is that 5%? I can't think right now. Continue. But you get what I'm saying, right? So it's tough. $2,500 account. If this is the only $2,500 you have, you're gonna want to be more patient and take some safer setups. If it's $2,500 that you can potentially lose all of it, you can definitely put 500 to 1,000 in it and try and build it quickly. Everyone's different. It's hard to just give one answer. To everyone here. We have like 100 people here. I don't want to, try and give some bad advice. I just go through every ticker I always trade, right? So I basically trade the same tickers every week. And I just go through and I just filter through. Speaking of, that looks pretty damn good to me. HD. Whoops. Look at that. I just clicked the random ticker. And that looks pretty good. With an entry over this high. And with the price target of that high. I'm actually going to set an alert because that's pretty funny. Jane, like I would just go through and watch or look and chart all these for a setup. Right, I've been trading for so long now that when I just look at a chart, I could tell if it's something that I like, which should be all of your goals as well. Right, like this wouldn't be a wedge, right? It's way too extended. Overall downtrend as well. QS overall downtrend. Like all these names, I would not trade something like that. I guess I had to like talk through it. I keep a lot of it in my head because I've been doing it for so long. So I guess like I should start talking about like what I'm thinking when I look at the charts. Like SPX double bottom here, creating a higher low, has a little gap to fill. So definitely something to watch. Right, you could take that entry right here. Gonna push up a little bit, take a nice little profit there. Right, it has a higher high. Right, it put a bottom in at this double bottom, and then now it's bouncing higher and pushing out. Right, so that's like what I'm thinking when I'm going through a chart. LDOC has been awful. Never playing that. Relo, gross, Twitter. I was looking at it, but now it's, you know, a little too extended for my liking. Uber, no shot. Visa, awful lately. Workhorse, wow, I haven't looked at Workhorse in a minute. Like, look at the overall chart. This is not something I would play. Jeez. Zoom, dead. Kathy Wood has bought every single week. It makes no sense to me. And this is basically what I do. Go through every single ticker. Look at this. I haven't charted this in a long, since probably October. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. We're still working. All right, like this is what I'll do. Go through. Okay, let me go back to the chat. Apple, I don't really like the setup on Apple. Although it does have this triple bottom. Right, one low, another low, and another. Like if I were to play it, I would take calls over that level right here. Whoops. 164.47. Set my alert just in case. But you can play puts below this as well. I'll set my alert below. How do I differentiate between risky versus safer setups? Depending on like the risk to reward, right? So if I enter here, the probability of it getting to here, it's less likely, but it has a higher reward. And the stop loss is way smaller of a region, right? So this has a probably like a 3 or 4 to 1 risk to reward, and you can measure it too, right? So if I entered here, price target would be that high, and the stop loss is right around the low here, and that is a 1.5 5.67 risk to reward. Stop loss was here, be a 2.23. You know, so you can measure it. Fang? What do you mean Fang? Facebook, Apple, Netflix, and Google? MRO. Alright, so it's been consistently going up, but like if you're trying to play options on it, that's pretty stupid, in my opinion. Right? I mean, you can play that like it's gonna work, but it's just not my style of trading, so I just don't care, you know? Chewy. Chewy had to wait for this potential break. Calls over that candle around 45.66. If it breaks this, it should run to this high, this region. Right, with a stop loss below that level here. Nope, don't look at Greeks. I'm gonna answer a few more questions and then head out of here, guys. Bang Energy. This, it's the only thing that comes up. This is the only thing that comes up. I don't ever look at oil, so I don't know. Never heard of Bookmap. You flipped on pool, William. You're finally out of pool, or? Let's see what questions I missed. I use the BullTrades cloud as just an indication of trend. It helps me just identify trend. It also looks clean. I like the look of it, so I use it. Disney. Right, Disney needs to hold that bottom. Whoops. This bottom needs to hold. You could take calls over that high. 140, 137. Right, but it needs to hold that. You could take puts below the low of 139.55. The Arnold? Yeah, I watched the Arnold. I'm big into the gym, so if you're new, make sure you drop a like, subscribe. Also, if you haven't signed up, we are running like a promo. You can use code EM. This is the starting screen, but use code EM. I don't have it on the ending screen, but you can use code EM for 20% off. Hopefully you guys learned a bunch. Been on for over an hour. I do have a bunch of videos covering like everything. You could watch all my live streams. I do this every single week, every Sunday. BullTrades is different. I've been in a bunch of subscription services. They all suck. They really do. You know, we really provide everything: live trading, alerts, education, streams every week. We answer 24/7. No one else answers. I was in this service for $180 a month, and they wouldn't even answer questions people were asking them. How do you not answer your members? It makes no sense to me. Right, I'm here to teach you guys. So always gonna put in the time to teach you. On that note, yeah, you really can't get this anywhere else. If you have a question, you can always ask me in the Discord. I always answer. All of us answer. Right? This is full time. We're here to help. So let's go. Let's make some good trades this week, and let's absolutely kill it. As always. I'll see you later.